Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another live edition of Legend from the Past and Future show. We a special guest tonight, but I have to introduce our co-host once again, Miss Deneen Ward. Deneen, how are you doing tonight, Deneen?
I am happy to be here on this Thanksgiving Eve.
Thanksgiving Eve, man. Are you ready for tomorrow?
I am. I'm ready.
Are you? Yeah, you have family coming over, family, friends.
Lots of family. So you guys, I apologize in advance if you hear any noise because that's what's happening. My house is full of people, but I didn't want to miss today. So I'm excited about our guest today, and hopefully you guys will be too.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Well, you know what? We have a hot guest tonight. He's a Marine. And he need to understand this is an Army show. Okay, he needs to know that. But I met him at a Black Caucus meeting one Tuesday. And he's a very energetic, dynamic person, and he's got a story to tell. And that's what it's all about here on the Legend from the Past and Future show. They tell their stories and they get very, very personal. But without further ado, we are going to bring him to the stage. Coming to the stage is none other than Councilman P. Smith. How you doing, sir? Welcome to the show. How you doing? Unmute your mic, sir.
There it is. I think I muted my mic there, so I'm doing exceptionally well.
Well, welcome to the Legend from the Past and Future show.
Well, and appreciate the invite. It's not often that I get asked to be on amazing platforms, so I was sort of pumped up when I found out you were going to invite me to this.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm glad you took us up on that offer, sir. It's just an honor just to have you. So this is what we do first on the Legend from the Past and Future show. We go back in future, okay, and then we come forward. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
Believe it or not, I'm actually born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. So I grew up in Chi-Town. My family, we have an extended family because my mom was like one of 11, and all of her family is there in Chicago. And I had 4 other siblings. So she had 5 kids, and we were born and raised right there in the city of Chicago. And most people don't know, my mother was actually 19 years old and had 5 children.
Really?
Before she turned 20, she had 5 of us. Yes. So
Wow.
She dropped out of high school. She dropped out to raise these kids, and it was tough. But we made it, and I'm exceptionally blessed because I think my siblings were impacted by the lifestyle that we grew up in, and I was fortunate enough to make it out of that.
Awesome. And what are some of the things that you've done when you were growing up in the neighborhood? Did you play sports growing up? Who did you look up to while growing up? Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's I didn't know my father growing up, and just like other teens and single parent households, we were no exception. And it was tough because I think having a mother who was 19 years old with 5 children, and we were all 1 year apart. So from 14 to 19, she had children. And because none of us are twins, right? And the fathers weren't in our lives, and it made it really tough for her. So I grew up moving around the city. I think I had like 15 different addresses from the day I was born to the day I went to the military at 18. We moved about 15 different times. And mainly with our other siblings, or my mom's siblings. She had 2 sisters, Diane and Bridget, who were raised with her. They also had 4 corresponding children. So I have a cousin who is the same age as me from both my aunts, and my sisters have cousins that are the same age as them. So I used to tease my mom and say, "Man, I know what y'all doing. Y'all were at the same event." And so it was fun because we had about 15, 16 kids around us growing up. They were all cousins, but it was also sort of traumatic and hard because the 3 of those women worked really hard to take care of these 15 kids, and it was tough in Chicago trying to do that. I went to probably 7 different schools from K through 8th grade. And so it was always trying to meet new friends, which is why we stayed close with our family. We grew up in sort of gang-infested cities of the parts of Chicago, as well as the drugs that was certainly around us growing up, because my mother and people who were around her, did participate in that community, and that was part of the reason I think some of my siblings, my sisters and brothers, got impacted by that, and it really sort of knocked us off the path that we were meant to be on. But by the grace of God, I was fortunate enough to not have some of those same things impact me. In fact, it motivated me to go the opposite direction for some reason. And I kept my nose clean. And I wound up having a mentor who was a police officer when I was 12. He actually arrested me and became 12 years old. And I tell this story that someone thought that I was going to break into their house. We lived in this neighborhood that had row homes. And me and this other kid were climbing on the roofs of the houses. They thought their house was going to be broken into, and they called the police. So this guy detained us, took us to the police station, and he actually changed my life and became like a father figure to me, which I think is one of the most instrumental points in my life that put me where I'm at today. I think had it not been for Officer Richardson, I would not be here today. I would probably be like my brother, who did 7.5 years in prison for armed robbery. And so, my path went a completely different direction. But I did play sports. When I got to high school, I dabbled in football. I wrestled. Even joined the swim team. So I was just doing whatever I could to not go back to my reality at home. I stayed at school. School became my addiction. My grades weren't good, but athletically, I excelled. And so that was my addiction, which kept me off the streets. And it gave me a skill set because I wound up learning how to swim and became a lifeguard. And so that put money in my pocket. So I didn't have to grind. I didn't have to do grimy things, right? And so it's one of those things where when I look back and trace the success in my life, it really started with that police officer.
Well, that's awesome. So okay, you graduated from high school. Did you go to college?
Not initially. I went to the military, the Marine, right after high school. My mom, my 17th senior year in high school.
One second, Pete. Just 1 second. I have to put some house rules on you. Now, at any time when you mention the Marine Corps, all right, if it's not Army, no Marine Corps. That's your house rule for the night. Are we good?
Yes. So I went into the military.
Don't listen to him. You're the guest.
Yeah, one of the greatest branches the United States has ever had, and that service has provided so much for me. But part of the reason I even enlisted right out of high school is because my mom lost her house when I was 17. And so my brother he was at Job Corps. My sister went to go live with her boyfriend. We were kind of like homeless. And in fact, I went to go live with my aunt. And my aunt let me stay in the basement. And the basement was this room that was a closet. It was a storage closet. And the only thing you could fit in the closet was a bed. That's all you could fit in the closet. And, at 17 years old, you're supposed to be going in your senior year in high school. And you can't even bring anybody over because you don't have space for them to even, to interact with you or hang out. And so I just wanted to get away from my reality. And the military gave me that option to get away as quickly as possible. And so I think that's part of the reason I left so quickly, so that I can join and maybe create something of myself. Because I didn't know that I was going to stay in the Marines. I just knew it was a way out of my circumstances, because it really was draining me of life, living in the situations that we were living in.
Wow. Now, before I pass it over to Deneen, are you currently married with any children?
So I do. I'm divorced. I do have 2 children. My daughter is 19. My son is 13. And they have been a blessing in my life. Even my ex-wife, she's a superhero. I could not do everything that I've done in my life, and certainly in my career up to this point, if she wasn't who she was. And so though we didn't make it out as a couple, we have certainly elevated ourselves as co-parent and our kids have benefited from that relationship. And I will always cherish how she takes care of my children, because I certainly depend on her to be the awesome mom that she has been.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna pass it over to Deneen. How are you, Deneen?
Oh my goodness, you said so much, and it oh my God, it so resonates with me because I feel like we've lived a parallel life, really. My mom had 6 kids when she was 21. She had 6 kids. She did have twins in there, but yeah, the same kind of thing. And so I understand why you have a passion for helping people. When you come from a family, a big family, and you come from a family that has some struggles, it really makes you, well, I feel like it goes from one extreme to the other. And I can see why you are doing the things that you're doing, simply because when you have felt that you don't want anybody else to go through it. And I think that that's why you are where you are today. Is that what led you to want to serve?
You know what? I think, yes. And so when I trace and that's why it's so important as a councilman, I've tried to give people the ability, a tool to stand on their own 2 feet. I was given tools at an early age that allowed me to create a resource for myself and take care of my family and to feed myself. And so because I had a skill that I could monetize and ensure my life was good, that really put me on this path. And so you're right. When you come from nothing, it's really you find this space in life and in the world that we live in. For those folks that have been there at the bottom, to try to get somewhere up top, it takes a lot. And so I've grinded my whole life. I've fought my whole life to get where I'm at, and I have no choice but to succeed because there is no other option. Because I know what it's like being at the bottom. I know what it feels like to have nothing, and so that has motivated me and inspired me to not only make sure I'm doing the right thing, but also to pass on those opportunities to other folks and other young people who, like me, had come from nothing and all they wanted was an opportunity. And so I think the positions that I've had over my adult life, I've tried to give back those opportunities so folks can thrive in their situation and thrive in their life so they can have something that's worth living for. And you're right. It's a passion of mine. I feel like God created me exactly who I am and made me go through these things so that I can understand the struggle, so that when we fight for these things and policies that are impacting various communities, they're coming from a place of sincerity. They're coming from a place of genuineness, because I know what it feels like to be those people who just need an opportunity.
Oh, I just love all that you said. I love all of it. I just love all of it because I so understand. I'm so excited to have somebody that's, trying to serve in our government that understands every step of the way. Because what we're seeing now is that everybody that's in there, they've already been up at the top, so they can't really relate to anybody else but the people that are where they are and above them. So I'm really excited that you have taken this on as a mission. And I see that you started the Leading by Feeding. Oh my God, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's necessary, right? I mean, this is real stuff that you're involved in, and moving our veterans back to work.
Yes,
we how can people not vote for that?
I know. And with that program, we've given out about 4,000 to 5,000 suits and or women attire, and we had an excellent partnership with Zips Cleaners. They dry clean all 5,000 plus of those suits or articles for free. That's a lot of moolah right there, right? That facility dry cleaned it all for free, and I'm so grateful for the owner who's partnered with me over the years. So when we have events, he's always taking care of and ensuring that we're able to give as much and capitalize off of helping as many people as possible, even through the ways that he's able to give. You don't have to have a cape to be a superhero, and so you can just wear a hat and have a platform and give it to folks who literally understand what it means to struggle, so that we can change lives, right? And that's what this is all about.
Again, I'm sorry, but once again, it's about teaching people how to fish instead of just feeding them, right? I mean, that's what this is all about. You are building people so that they can build others. I love it. Oh my gosh. I'm like so excited about it because everything that you're talking about is really personal to me. I mean, I feel really strongly about helping people. And me and our mom was just talking about this clothing closet that I wanted to create. And when you said that, talking about getting the suits and making sure that people have clothes that represents them in a professional way, I mean that just really resonates with me. So I'm excited. I'm so excited about what you're doing for the community, and I'm hoping that people are seeing this tonight and understanding that we have a person in the Anne Arundel County that is really in this to serve. And I can't say enough about it.
My brother got out of prison, some maybe 15 years ago, 16 years ago. It's, I used to look at him because we grew up in the same bedroom. Every time we moved, we had a bunk bed. My sister was on the bottom, me and my brother were on the top of the bunk bed. He faced one way, I faced the other. He's 2 years younger than me. And I'm always, sort of in awe that, he and I literally grew up in the same environment, but yet our paths went just like this. And, I try to help him because when you go down that path and it creates barriers for you. And so I've, over the years, helped him pay his bills, things like that, because, he's my family and, I want him to be successful. And so, but I understand why he fell into those traps. And my life now has been, I used to tell folks, I didn't know my father, but I learned everything about being a man and a father from someone that I never knew. Whatever he was, I was going to be the opposite. And so while I didn't know what right or wrong, right was, I knew what wrong felt. And so I took that energy and that negative frustration of not knowing who he was, not knowing, feeling like he could, why he wasn't in my life, and reverse it and try to sort of get back a different energy, which is why I'm so involved in my kids' lives, because I never want them to feel like I didn't love them and I didn't care about them and that I wasn't there for them. And so they are part of my motivation. And my brother and their struggles is just a testament, my testimony on how good God has been to me, right? And I'm not trying to make this all biblical. I'm not trying to go down that path, and I'm not even super religious. I just know that there was this covering that had to have been over me to allow me to get to where I'm at. And even when things are coming at me now on the political side of the house, people make stuff up or they try to destroy my character. I just know that covering is there to protect me, and I'm so grateful to have that over me.
That's awesome. That's an awesome testimony.
Let me just say one more thing, Armand. Let me just say this because it comes right off of that. He was really reading my mind that the reason why you went a different way than your brother did is because of the fortitude that God had placed in you, and He knew that you were going to be able to get through anything that came after you, and He knew that you were going to go back in and pull some people out. So that's the take. He knew it because everybody can't do it. See, and not only that, everybody can't go through what you went through and endure and then come out victorious. So He knew that for you a long time ago. He had already set that up, and He knew that you were going to be the strength that your brother might need it in the future. So that's it.
Pete, I want to thank you for your transparency. That's awesome. Now, do you think that the 27 years that you have put into that other branch of service, do you think that prepares you well for who you have become today?
100%. I graduated high school with a 2.1 GPA. 2.1. I can show you my transcripts today, and you will see that I failed several classes in high school. Not because I couldn't learn it. I just wasn't disciplined. I didn't have structure. And for us, we were just trying to survive, right? And so the last thing I was worried about was grades. And I did just enough to make sure that I was able to compete within the sports that I was so passionate about. And we had a very athletic school. In fact, on our football team, we had 3 NFL players on the same football team, and we were dominating folks. Right? And so I just wanted to compete because it took me out of this world that I was in. And when I got in the military just instilled in me structure, discipline, sacrifice, and boot camp, and this great service that I've spent 27 years in. They used to actually have fake grenades, right? That they would throw in the middle of the squad bay. And every recruit who's in boot camp would run to go jump on this fake grenade. Just think about what they're training you to do. They're instilling in you that you are going to, if this was in a real environment, in a battlefield, that you're going to go and jump on this grenade and sacrifice yourself for those that are around you, because it could injure folks around you. So when you have that ingrained in you and drilled in you, over time, that becomes your personality. Like, I've deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan and Pakistan and all these other countries. Was shot at and bombed, and still I made it out of that whole process. But the military certainly gave me a discipline and a passion of service and purpose, and that I'm fighting for every single day now. Because in that 27 years that I've been in, I was able to finish my degree. I went to college, night school, while I was working on active duty. I went to graduating college with a 3.8. Like, I actually had all A's and B's. I'm like, man, why did I not apply myself in high school? And I would have, but I think I needed to go through that to be who I am today. And so I don't take back anything that has ever happened to me, no matter how hard it has been on my life, because it forged me and made me who I am today. And I'm taking that same purpose that the Marine Corps has given me and channeling that into my community to say, you don't gotta freaking grow up and struggle, right? You can sacrifice. I used to tell my brother this, like, why are you dealing drugs or doing crazy stuff, hurting the same people in the community you tell me you love? Like, why can't you sacrifice for them and do the right thing? And so he's since turned his life around, and I'm happy for him. But it's that same mentality where I am willing to give my life for this community and for the county and that I live in, because it's a beautiful county. It's given me everything that I could wish for my kids to have a successful future. And that's why I'm fighting for it to this day.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, there's another Marine that just joined the show, and he just got through putting something in the chat. Here's a house rule for you. Now, one time where you mentioned Semper Fi. Okay? Now, one time. That's a house rule. Now, let's move on to...
Okay.
Let's move on to your experience.
You're right. I won't say that. But always be faithful.
Same thing.
I'm always faithful.
Well, tell us about your experience as a comptroller.
So my job at NSA and on Fort Meade has been very rewarding. I've done a lot of technical stuff. In fact, my degree is in information technology, and I wound up going to night school. In fact, when I was in Iraq, in 2008 is actually when I finished my degree. So I used to, do my homework and then send it over via email back to the instructor, because I had deployed, and it was cool to be able to have that experience. But I've transitioned from mainly IT background to more programmatics, where it's more resource specific. So I justify different budgets to ensure that they have the necessary language and/or support system around it, so that our deployed service members and our military branches have the tools and trades that they need to be successful. I'm actually at U.S. Cyber Command right now, and I love that unit. I've been there the last 4.5 years, working in their organization, trying to make sure that we're perfecting our cyber defense and protecting the nation from other cyber threats. It's a hard job to master every single day to make sure our nation is protected. But the little piece that I do perform when it comes to resourcing those capabilities is something I'm proud of, and I love it.
That's awesome. So before I give it back to what it means, when do you see yourself retiring?
So from the military, I'm at 27. I did almost 14 years of active duty, and the last 13 as a reservist. I'm getting ready to pick up, hopefully, Lieutenant Colonel. And my goal now is to at least do 3 years in that grade before I retire. So right now I'm shooting for 30 years, and then I'll retire from the military after that point, and then hand the baton, because there's a bunch of up and coming military folks who can certainly carry and wear our cloth and sort of go into the future prepared to defend this nation. And so for me, 30 years sounds like a nice, solid round number. I don't feel like I've been in the military 30 years, almost, in 3 years. But time flies, and that's even more the reason why it's important that we tackle the obstacles that we have to tackle today, because in 30 years, we're all going to be like 80, 90 years old, which is crazy. It's crazy to think about. But I have been exceedingly and honored to walk the path and the journey that I have walked. The Marine Corps has that fell out of there, but they have been a life force for me. And a funny story: when I got appointed to the county council, I didn't know that I was going to get appointed in 2012. It was actually by accident. I didn't know that I was going to be in politics. In 2012, when I applied for the vacancy for the seat that I am currently in, there were about 11 other people who had applied for that position. And I remember the council members who were the entities, they were the ones that were going to do the appointment. It was 6 of them up there. And one of the individuals who had interviewed all of us, and they interviewed us alphabetically. So I'm Smith, I'm towards the end at least. So I hear what he's asking them. And I'm sitting here thinking, how are they going to select me? These people have been in this county for generations. In fact, they even have roads that are named after some of their siblings, right, who had been there. And I didn't know what to say. So I went back to my military roots. And I'll never forget the story I conveyed to them. When they asked me, are you from here? And do you own a house here? I did own a house here. So I answered that question as soon as they asked me, yes, I own a house here. And I think the premise behind the questions was to see that if you were going to be the elected official representing this area, that you were also impacted by the same decisions that we voted. So yes, I did have a house here. And but to answer the other question, how long have I been here? I knew that I was not going to do well compared to some of the other applicants. So I'll never forget the story that I told them was that in 2004, and this is all true, I deployed to Afghanistan. And we used to have this team that was around us, the EOD team, Explosive Ordnance Disposal. And they were part of our contingent of tools that were available to the villages around Bagram Air Base. And so we used to do civil affairs missions to make sure these village elders and families around the base had, pencils and pens or crayons and paper and just supplies as we built a relationship. The EOD team, their task was to make sure that there were no bombs that were sort of stranded all throughout the Afghan sort of region from the wars, the 20, 30 years of wars that they've had with the Russians. And so these EOD teams would try to find these cache of ordnances to detonate them so that it wouldn't kill young kids who were just walking in the fields. Well, one day, this team, and it was 6 of them, had tried to detonate a cache of ordnance there in Afghanistan. One of the bombs went off early, and it killed all 6 of them. And they died. This was in the spring of 2004. And these men had been in theater for about 6 months, some like 3 to 6 months. But the moral of the story, and this is what I told the council, sometimes it's not how long you've been somewhere, but what you're willing to give when you get there. Now, I may not have been in Anne Arundel County for a generation, but I'll give my life for this county. And I remember telling them that story to convey to them that, yes, I haven't been here for hundreds of years and my families don't have street names, but damn it, I care about this county and I'm willing to give my all to make sure she's successful. And that's how I got appointed to the county council.
That's awesome. I'm getting ready to pass it to the name, but you told a story. One of the viewers said, "From pain to purpose."
Yes,
that says it all. On you, Deneen.
Yeah, and then to add to that, it's not where you start; it's where you finish, right?
Yes.
That's the other piece to that. What I wanted to know is because I wasn't really clear about what office are you running for now? Are you running for the same seat? Is that what's happening? And what do you think that, you winning this seat again, if that's what it is, clarify it for me. What's going to be the first thing that you try to do as if you're elected?
So currently I am the councilman for District 1 here in Anne Arundel County, but I'm running for county executive here in Anne Arundel County. The current county executive is term limited. It is an open seat, and I am one of at least 3 on the Democratic side who is running for this seat. And I'm excited about this opportunity. I tell folks I'm not entitled. I'm not a king. I have to earn this seat like everything else I've earned in my life, and I'm willing and ready to do that. But one of the first things I want to do when we win is I really want to change the culture of Anne Arundel County departments so that they are focused and sort of working in a way where they have leaders who are just as passionate as I am and who want to sacrifice just as much as I do to make sure the citizens here, whether they're a business or a single mom or a family who lives in the county, that they have county government working for them and not against them. And you're going to see us sort of tackle some of the issues that I've seen over the last 13 years that have created barriers for different subgroups in Anne Arundel County. I want to change that. And I want to show them that there are some things we can do that if we just had thought outside the box, we could have accomplished this. And so we're going to be focused on that. And we're going to be a believer, and I'm going to be a hands-on county executive. You're going to see me in the weeds, just like I've been in the weeds my entire life. And so that sort of lead from the front, that leadership is something that they are going to see in spades when we get in there, because I really want to encourage them and inspire them to be the best version of themselves so they can make sure our citizens have the best version of government that they deserve, because we have the capacity to be even greater than what we are right now.
Wow, that's great. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm just hoping that people will understand the significance of having a person that is for the people in office. And I'm hoping that people will come out in droves in the local elections, and people need to understand that local elections control your environment where you live. And so I'm just hoping that, that we got enough people watching today that's going to tell the next person, we need to get out there and we need to get behind this person because this person is for us. I just can't even say that enough. Really.
And you're right. The local election is where it impacts most people the most, right? That's your schools, that's your roads, that's your public safety, your grocery stores, all those policies, your neighborhoods are driven by local decision makers. And that is what impacts you the most. I'm not saying the federal government right now is not impacting us. I think emotionally they are driving us nuts. But when it comes to some of the things, the quality of life issues that all of you deserve to have for your children and your family and your relatives and your neighbors, that's all really managed at the local level. And so the county executive is probably the most powerful position within the county, Anne Arundel County. And it's probably the same way across other jurisdictions, but certainly here in Anne Arundel County, because the county government works for him. They don't work for the legislator. We just fund it. And we can use our authority as funders to put pressure on them to do the things we want them to do. And if we have 3 other votes to do it, but as the county executive, you can actually just execute and do it without having to ask 3 other people to do it with you. So it's a very powerful position here in Anne Arundel County. And they've certainly never seen someone like me in that office, a Marine, that they've never had a gun dog on that 4th floor. And so it's going to bring a unique perspective and a unique sort of challenges because, I'm ready for all of those things that are going to be coming at us because that's what I was built and made to do.
Wow, that's so good. I mean, I'm just blown away by it. I'm so excited that I had an opportunity to talk to you today. I can't say it enough to our viewers that if New York didn't teach us anything, it taught us that the people do have the power.
Yes.
And if the people get out there and vote, the people can have the people in office that's going to have their best interests at heart. So I'm just pleading to people to take somebody with you.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is I tell folks don't vote for me for don't just look at what I want to do. I tell folks, look at what I've done. Look at my report card, and you will see an individual, a man who has been fighting tooth and nail for this county. You know, I also run Marine Corps Toys for Tots as a reservist. That's one of my collateral duties. There are 100,000 kids out of Prince George's and Arundel, Howard, Baltimore City, and Baltimore County that every year for the last 15 years, we serve about 100,000 kids in that universe. And that requires a lot of sacrifice. You see me for about 2 months, changing in and out of uniform, you know, going to go pick up boxes that have those white boxes at businesses throughout the region. Like I sacrifice a lot of my time to make sure that program is going to be successful. And when it's successful, these children who deserve to feel like a child on Christmas, just like I deserve to feel like one when I was a child, even though I didn't for some of those Christmases, but I took that pain, turned it into a purpose. And that's why when I had the opportunity to be a part of this program as a Marine, I ran with it and have held that baton for the last 15 years for Central Maryland, because those kids deserve a fighter who's going to make sure that they get to feel like Santa is there for them. And so if I don't mind being an elf, even though I've been in 27 years in a major in the Marine Corps, but when it comes to these children, I'm passionate about them. That's why I help with that program every single year. That's why we do the leading by feeding and cooking for kids. And that's why we do the suit drive to make sure veterans can go get a job and have a suit so they look good on that first interview. That's why we volunteer and we do cleanup. I mean, you name it, we've been there. We had a citizen who had their bike stolen from them about 12 years ago. And I was the first one to say, send me, I'll replace the bike. And so I want to use my own money to go buy that bike, because I knew what it felt like to have a bike that was mine when I grew up in a house with 14 other kids, and I had my little bike in the bunk bed with me and my brother, so no one else would ride it. So I knew what that felt like. And I want to take that energy and that passion and say to the county government that we have a mission, and that mission is to be so efficient that when citizens interact with us, it's going to be super effective to make sure their lives aren't overly complicated. And so that's what I can't wait to get my hands on the steering wheel, because I'm going to show this county that they have a pathway to be exceptionally wonderful, because it's all about leadership, and it's all about using the experiences that I've had over my life, including my deployment experience, to say we can overcome these obstacles, and that's what we're going to be fighting for. So yes. This county is amazing, and I'm excited to show them at the leadership we're going to bring. I just simply ask them to just look at my report card, see what I've been doing, and you will know what I'm going to do.
You know, I listen. I see in your future governor. You know,
Oh no, Jeff County exec. That's all I care about. Yeah, when I turn 54 after 8 years, I want to buy an RV and drive across the country.
That's what I'm talking about. That's it. But you know, this guy that wore the same uniform that you did, he made a comment. It's not if you win, Marine. It's what you will do once you're elected.
Yes.
And you know, that other stuff that he got to go along with it. What is that? Semper Fi, always faithful, and all that good stuff. You know. But my question to you, I'm not sure if I really heard your why. You know, and I'm pretty sure you touched on it, but why do you want to become the county executive? And number two, what makes you the best for this job?
You know, when I was flying around, when I went to Iraq, my ex-wife at the time, she was on the phone with me, and I was in the green zone. We were supporting a mission out of the embassy. So for the most part, it wasn't too bad living standards when you're in the middle of the desert, certainly in a foreign country. But one of the things that always happened to us, because we were in the green zone, and specifically by the embassy, which is where the ambassador was, the general Petraeus, I think he was there during that time frame as well. They were over in Baghdad International Airport. It was about 20, 30-minute drive from the green zone into this airport compound. But in the green zone, we always used to get mortared. And you would hear the mortars because we used to have this system that would try to shoot those mortars out of the sky when this alarm came on. And it was this loud sort of siren. And when you hear this siren, you have a few moments to get to the bunkers at the end of the berthing areas where we were staying. And I'm on the phone with my kid's mother at the time, and I hear the sirens. And I know when I hear the sirens in that location, it's too late for me to get to the bunkers because they're a nice little run because I'm right in the middle of this berthing area, and it's a lone, these Connex boxes that are like H-shaped, and they share a bathroom, and you got like maybe 2 to 4 people in each one of those little setups. And so all I hear is the impact starting as soon as the sirens had come on. And so I hear these explosions, the boom and the dirt or the debris and the shrapnel hitting metal objects. And all I'm praying for at the time was if this was going to be my time, to make it quick. Just make it, if it's going to happen, make it fast. Like, I just don't want to feel no pain, right? And so my ex at the time, I dropped the phone because I'm starting to put my bed on top of me, the mattress, my gear, because I'm trying to create a barrier between all of this between me and these projectiles that are potentially coming through various Connex boxes. And I remember sitting in that thing screaming like I don't want to. I was saying, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. That's what I was saying. So hopefully that doesn't mess up the viewership because I use that word, but it's the truth, right? I'm just like, man, please don't. If this is just make it quick, just lights out. And when the explosion stopped, and my ex, my kid's mom, and she's listening on the phone, and she hears all this rumbling. She doesn't know what's going on. I just dropped the phone. She thought something bad had happened. Hell, I thought something bad was going to happen. And I walked into that Connex box, and I started looking around, and I see all these the dirt and some of the debris and some of the shrapnel going through the metal tin of the Connex boxes. And I am just relieved that nothing hit me. I'm relieved. And I knew then, just as I know now, it wasn't my time. That there was a purpose and a reason that I needed to make it through that. The reason that's so important for my why is because I understand how precious life is. And to have someone in that office who can respect and understand the importance of life and ensuring that every citizen has the ability to live that life in a way that is fruitful, that is prosperous, that is beneficial to their legacy. I didn't have a legacy, right? I didn't know my father. My mom, I moved here to Maryland about 13 years ago. And when she got here, she finished her GED, and about a 5-year span, her GED, her associate, and her bachelor's degree. So I was proud of her when she did that. But that legacy was never there initially for me growing up. And so to understand the value of life and why it's so important that we take on the instruments of county government to ensure that other folks don't have to worry about their kids when they go to school, that they have teachers in a classroom that's going to give them the skills to be successful, that the police department is going to work in communities and not be the enemy to those who live in those communities, but actually help them be the Officer Richardson that I had when I was 12 years old. To have a permitting office that's going to allow a family to build a deck on the back of their house so that they can have birthday parties and cherish those moments. It is that reason for living and the reason that I think I made it out of that process in that environment was to get back and to ensure that this community and our county government was going to provide those opportunities for folks here so that they can live the life that I used to dream of. And now I'm living that life because I bust my butt over the last 45 years to get where I'm at. And I've stayed on the straight and narrow, and I've done what society has asked me to do. Work hard, be a good person in your community, sacrifice for those that are around you, serve your country, give back. And I've done all of those things, and I've absorbed it in a way that I am ready to make sure our county government is doing the exact same thing and treating those people the same way I would want to be treated. But that is my why, because I know we can be an exceptionally great government so that the lives of the folks who live here in Anne Arundel County have a county executive who understands them and who will fight for them and who will ensure that they have access to things so that their lives can be just as beautiful as the life that I have been given and spared even when I was overseas. But that is my why, because it's not a question of should it happen. We must be able to provide those things to these young peoples and families who grew up and weren't given opportunities or weren't given access to a door. We have to give them those tools so that they can be great. And so that's why I do it. That's why it burns in me every single day to get across that finish line, because I know that they're going to have a county government that they love and they can respect. That's my why.
All right. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to let the name. We're going to ask you one more thing. I will ask you one more thing, and then you will close the show out, okay, with something encouraging. All right?
Yes.
Elder Charles James, he said, good evening, Major Pete. You know, I don't know, you bringing out some Marines here. You know, I didn't know Tony Spencer was a Marine.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He is a Marine.
Now, I gave you house rules. All right, and
you did, man.
You violated them, but you know what? This is great. Go ahead, Denise.
Well, I mean, I really didn't have a final question. What I wanted to say was that I'm just excited. I'm excited about you and the things that I believe that you'll be able to do in Anne Arundel County, and your global perspective, like, because you have traveled the world and because you have grown where you come from, all those things, when you put it all together, just makes you the perfect candidate. I mean, there's so many people out there in Annapolis, in that area, who are just looking for some hope. And I just really feel like that you are that hope. I mean, it would be really nice for people that look like you, people that don't look like you, because you can tap into all the different areas and give people that final hope that they need. I'm so overwhelmed. Like I'm just really excited, and I hope that we can bring you back after you win and talk about some real things that you're going to be doing for the community.
You asked the second part of that question when you asked was like, why do we think we're the best candidate in this race? And I think you kind of went over that a little bit. When you look at all we've done in the last, I would say, 25 years of my life, essentially my adult life, there is no other person in this race, zero, who has done what we have done for this country, who has done what we've done for this party, who has done what we've done for this county, who has done what we've done for the thousands of kids that we help every single year. No one. And it's not to like I said, I'm not entitled. I'm not, nothing is going to be given to me. I don't look at this as this is mine, right? I have to earn it. I will never take that away. I have to earn this, just like everything else I've earned in my life. But I'm not entitled. And I never want to have that mentality. Just because I think I'm the most qualified one doesn't mean that it's not going to take work to get there. And so what I love about our communities, if you go back 50, 60 years and how they work together to make sure that when we needed something accomplished, they band together and they sacrificed, right? They walked for almost a year because they wanted to change things, right? Everyone banded together to sacrifice. I hope that as we see what's happening at the federal level, that communities like ours can band together and say, we're going to sacrifice for this team to ensure that we have that covering and that shield, because as he continues to throw things down through this state or down at this that impact our county, that we have someone, a fighter, who is willing to combat all those things that are happening to us and create solutions, because we're bringing stuff to the table. It's not like we're just coming with ideas. I'm coming with real solutions that can be implemented. I'm actually the only one that's bringing hundreds of millions of dollars of resources to the table with us the moment we win, because we've already been partnering with entities that want to invest in our county. And it's that forward-thinking approach to making sure that everyone organizations who partner with us, D9 groups that I'm going to certainly be tapping into, because I feel like they pour into young people, and I want to expand what they do from a partnership standpoint from our county, and all these other organizations and churches and people like Tony Spencer, who has been fighting in Anne Arundel County for decades, and Brother Charles, who has been fighting for in this county. I'm standing on their shoulders. They have handed the baton to me, and I'm saying to them, I'm going to be a good fighter for them. And I'm so grateful that they've allowed me over the last couple of decades, and I've known Tony for almost 20 years, to stand on their shoulders and say, look, brother, I got you, and I got us. And we're going to make sure that our communities are taken care of, and we're going to make sure this county is taken care of. So we are the most qualified one in this race by far. I don't care what anybody tells you. Look at my resume, and there's no one else. I'm proud of that distinction. I'm proud of it because I fought for it, and I've earned it over the last 20 years. And that's how I'm going to be fighting for every single citizen when we get in that seat.
Well, bro, a significant thing took place this past Saturday. My question to you, then after you answer this, you can close us out, okay? Do you think that the apology that our current county executive did this past Saturday was overdue? Should have been done a long time ago? Or was it on time when it did happen? What did you think about that?
So I will never take away from, it is never too late to amend bridges and to fix relationships, right? It's never too late because it has happened when God has wanted it to happen, right? And so, you have a county executive who has certainly been, I've worked with four different county executives. John Leopold, I was on the council. Laura Newman, I was on the council. Steve Shue, I was on the council. And now with Stuart Pittman, I was on the council. So I've seen their styles of leadership, and I've seen what the things that they value. And so I won't take away from the current county exec. He has certainly done things that I am proud of. And him sort of thinking outside the box and maybe taking this approach to apologize for the things that have happened in our county. I do wish he would have been a little bit more collaborative with I'm the only African American on the council, in county government, right? From a leadership perspective. I do wish there was a little bit more collaborative from that standpoint. I know that NAACP wish they too were a little bit more at the table, but I won't take away from what he's done, right? I just won't do that. What I will say is going forward, we need to do more and we need to be better. And how we can be better is actually not just using our words, but using our actions and using our resources. Our budget is a policy decision. It tells you what we care about. It tells you what we value. And it is the county executive that sets the standard and sets the tone for that policy and what our county stands for. And so you're going to see a county executive and my leadership that stands for things that are geared towards opening up these doors for subgroups that have not necessarily had access. You're going to see a county executive that invests heavily into young people and create access for seniors who are transitioning in their life, because my mom had a stroke last year, and now I know what it means like when it comes to elder care and being caught off guard. I wasn't necessarily prepared to take care of her medical issues when she had a stroke. Now, thank God, she has recovered in about 85% to where she's able to do things on her own. But for those other families who are not as fortunate as I am, who have to work between jobs and drive to go take care of their elders or to go take care of their children, and they only have one income because childcare is so expensive and cost prohibitive, or if they just need a house. I was homeless. I know what it feels like to not have a home. And so you will see those policies that are focused on giving these groups and people who at disadvantage have those opportunities to be successful. That's what our campaign stands for. That's what I stand for. And that's why I can't wait to be your next county executive here in Anne Arundel County. We will win because we have the passion and the energy and the networks and the communities who believe in us. It is not superficial. The people we've helped over the last 30 years, it's real. It's a two-way street. I'm not just having some superficial political relationship with them. I've done things for them. And so we're going to win because they believe in who I am as a man, not just in who I am as the county executive. And that's why we're going to win this race. And I'm excited about that opportunity to give back in a way that they've never seen before. And we're excited about that.
Well, I tell you, the legend from the past, the future show supports you, and we're going to do what we have to do to help get you in that chair. I have to say this before we get ready to get out of here. Next week, we'll have a returning NFL legend, John Booty, on the show. He played with the Philadelphia Eagles and several other teams. But Denise.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I did want to say one thing. I don't know if Armand has already done it because I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it, but we got to give him an invite for the Legends of the Past and Future award ceremony in March, right? We got to give out an invite right now. Here you go.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Armand.
Absolutely. He's right.
Yeah.
March 21st. Mark your calendar, and I will provide you with more information. We will be awarding our legend awardees, Carl Henson, Carlisa Finney.
Yep.
And we have two young future legends. One of them you heard speak last week or 2 weeks ago at the Black Caucus, Michelle, 17-year-old, and Little Memphis, 13 years old. So we're going to award them with some awards.
That's awesome. I would encourage people to just go to our website, www.votepetesmith, if they're interested in helping our team and helping our campaign. We're going to be out door knocking like we've been over the last 6 months, and spreading our message and telling folks what our vision is. And so we're excited about that. But thank you all for this opportunity to just share a moment in your network and be spotlighted in this way. I truly take that to heart. So I'm definitely grateful for that.
And whatever we can do to help you out, sir, we're there for you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Until next week, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being transparent and open on the show. Deneen, thank you again, and you know what's coming next. Thank you, everybody who came out. See you next week.